'cause it's so much fun. Here comes Andy Pandy in Andy Pandy Land.
Andy Pandy had found an old telescope in his special cupboard. The telescope made Looby look very odd. Now Andy Pandy looked very odd. Andy wanted to wait until dark and look at the moon through the telescope. He thought they might see a man walking on the moon. On his way to visit Andy, Teddy had seen a very big box outside Bilbo's house. It was dark inside the box, and Teddy couldn't see anything. He pushed a long way into the box, and he still couldn't see anything, but he wouldn't give up. One last try.
Uh-oh.
Teddy was stuck. He couldn't get out of the box. At last he got back onto his feet, but now he couldn't see where he was going. Missy Hissy liked to watch everything that went on. Suddenly, she saw something strange. A large box walking past her house. She'd never seen a walking box before, so she followed the box. Teddy didn't know he'd walked onto the green. He didn't know that Missy Hissy was following him, and he didn't know that he was walking around in circles. He felt dizzy and stopped for a rest. Bravely, Missy Hissy crept closer and closer. But now the box was walking straight at her. Missy Hissy wanted help. Missy Hissy asked Orby the ball how to get away from the walking box. Teddy wanted help too. He wanted to get out of the box. Orby didn't know it was Teddy's voice. He wanted to get away before the walking box walked into him. Wherever Orby bounced, the box seemed to follow. Between them, they made so much noise that Tifo the dog wanted to know what was going on. Teddy heard barking. He thought Tifo might help him. Now Andy and Looby came to see what was going on. When Andy Pandy saw the walking box, he was sure he knew what it was. It was a man from the moon, and he'd come to visit them. Andy asked the man from the moon home for tea. Andy and Looby invited the man from the moon into Andy's house. But the man from the moon was a bit too big to get through the front door. They didn't know whether to pull the man from the moon into the house or push him out. Looby Loo thought they should push him out. So they did. Andy watched the man from the moon and saw something very strange. The man from the moon had left footprints which looked just like Teddy's. Missy Hissy wanted to know if the man from the moon's feet looked like Teddy's paws, and Looby thought that if they did, he might get just as hungry as Teddy. So she went to fetch a cake she'd just baked. But Teddy couldn't wait to taste the cake. Bilbo asked if Andy Pandy had seen a large cardboard box he'd brought home. But Andy had been far too busy with the man from the moon. Missy Hissy tried to see the man from the moon's feet, but she looked a bit too closely. When Andy Pandy saw the man from the moon's feet, he knew they didn't belong to a man from the moon after all. They belonged to Teddy. Teddy was thrilled he'd finally got out of the box, and so was Bilbo the sailor. It was the very box where he wanted to keep his maps and charts. But when Looby Loo invited him to have some cake, he thought he'd wait until the next day before he put the maps and charts in it. Later on, Andy Pandy and his friends saw the moon through the telescope, but they didn't see a man from the moon. They didn't even see a walking box.